what kind of reaction are you seeing from students or anticipate seeing from students who have this opportunity to experience an integrated curriculum?
There's lots of light bulb moments. They've heard it before. For example, Frank and I have collaborated on a color activity with his work as a science teacher. So I do that with the art and the math, and so it's like a reinforcement for the students. They enjoy that very project-oriented approach. The kids got very excited about the math aspects of our legacy project because they were going to be used. The project that was chosen was benches, which was a very humble, functional thing in our campus. And it became very important because they had an immediate need and client for this. So I think it brought it outside of the classroom, the impact, and there was a lot of pride in what they had done.
So some of the things I heard you say, Shelley, was you saw light bulb moments happening with students. And
they were making connections, yeah.
If you could just review the math big ideas that you feel are being reinforced through this the Legacy Integration Initiative and then Kristen, the other modules. What are some of the math big ideas?
Go ahead. Okay, thanks. I think one of the big ideas was the use of math for finding out what your constituents think or what their ideas are, so that the project that the students created for the school was based on what the school population wanted and needed. And it was mathematics that helped them figure out what that was. The same thing for the precision with which they had to measure and that kind of thing as far as getting the actual bench design, the artistic process, but then also making sure that design was functional and would work within the campus framework there. It involved math, and there was purpose in their math, and they were doing the same type of problems they might have done in a classroom, but here was an application.
And one just sidelight, and then I'll answer the question that you asked, is that we actually have a video of the ribbon cutting for Eagle High School for the benches with all the kids there, and we had asked questions. So for future reference for you, John.
Let me, Kristen, before you talk about the other module,
yes.
big ideas, let me just push a little bit more on this and the notion of going back to student excitement and light bulbs going off and pride in working on something that will be used and that they'll see an impact around. Are there any student anecdotes, student examples or stories that either of you could share around this legacy project? Maybe you overheard students talking about their pride in it, or you got some direct feedback from students about why this was meaningful to them.
Well, one thing I remember when we interviewed the kids, because we pulled a few students and sat down and interviewed them and videotaped that interview, one of the girls said something to the effect of, I didn't know how big a deal measurement was and how exact you had to be to make things fit with what was originally there. The benches that they made actually they're on portable buildings, and in order to make sure that they were the right size, the right fit, the right height for the students, all those kinds of things, she didn't realize how big a deal it was to be precise and to make sure that not only did they fit well on the building, but that they looked similar from building to building, that was a big deal. Can you think of anything, Shelley, right off the top of your head?
I think there was a sense of what the underclassmen were thinking about, what they could contribute next. And I think when they see that math matters in day-to-day life like this, it's not just something on paper that we turn in an assignment on. It was a big learning there.
I think some of the biggest lessons learned were, first off, that we really could have used more meetings together, because teachers were working, in their pairs at their separate schools. But when they came together, the three schools together, and had to kind of present and talk to each other about what they were doing, there was a synergism there that didn't exist when they went back to their school districts. And they even said at the end, oh, I wish that we could have had a couple more meetings, because they think that would have helped them to be more accountable for what they were doing. And it would have helped to kind of push them a little bit in their thoughts and their practice.
I think the support from the Educational Service District folks was really key. It provided us with time to kind of retreat from the classroom and really focus on what we wanted to accomplish. I certainly had a wonderful in-service in math and applying math across the curriculum, but we also had a chance to check in with other teams and see how it was working in different schools, so that gave us some ideas. But that time was invaluable. I don't think Frank and I we would have pulled something off, but I don't think it would have had the depth that it has.
If it weren't for the ESD support and the collaboration, more importantly, the collaboration with the other project.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and the time was very key. Our principal was very much on board, and we kept him informed of what we were doing at every step, and we shared what we learned at our staff meetings, so that the alternative school staff knew what we were doing and gave us that moral support, and were very instrumental in sharing ideas.